Welcome back everyone, this is Kylie the Acrylic Crafter and today is Craftmas Day 5. I have a very exciting video for you guys today because we are going to be doing this really unique DIY project. Today we will be making these resin gumdrops and turning them into an amazing garland and some gumdrop Christmas trees. So if you guys are wanting some gumdrop DIY projects, let's get started. I do want to mention that these take a lot of time, effort, and money to make, and some people might not have that budget, so an alternate way to make it could be like purchasing a silicone mold of a gumdrop on Etsy and then filling it with maybe hot glue and painting it, then glittering it the same way that I have done. But if you want to do it step by step like I have, everything in this video right now that you guys are watching is all that you need to know. And then I also have the video how I made my silicone mold linked down in the description, so make sure you watch that if you want to do every single step that I did to make these gorgeous gumdrop trees in Garland. Before doing the DIY gumdrop trees, garland, or even using gumdrops for the fake bakes, we have to make the fake resin gumdrops first. So I will leave you guys a link down in the description to the video on how to make my silicone mold for the project. And also a little tip is for when making this, you like to have some color referencing. So these are the real gumdrops and I just use those to kind of guide my color spectrum when mixing my resin. And then you will also need a kit of resin, again will be linked in the description, as well as this really nice clear measuring cup. And then just to stay protected and make sure your hands aren't touching the chemicals, definitely wear a pair of gloves. For stirring, you will also need a wood stir stick, and I like to protect my surface with some parchment paper. Let's get started. As for your resin kit, you should receive part A and part B. You will need equal parts and just follow the instructions that come with your resin kit. For my mold of about 124 gumdrops, I needed roughly 200 milliliters of each part. As for dyeing it, I use the shades of green from some resin pigment. Just pick up any type of resin pigment that works for you just to color your resin so that they will match the color and pigment in your gumdrops. Once equal parts of your resin kit have been added, it is time to begin stirring it. You will have to stir your mixture constantly for 7 minutes. This just ensures that it is completely combined, but also keep in mind that my clip is sped up and you really want to actually stir it pretty slow to prevent some air bubbles. While stirring for 7 minutes, this is the time that you would also add in your resin pigment. I don't really have any other tips for this step other than patience and accuracy. I am definitely not the most patient, so this step gets actually pretty messy for me. Though if you are patient, just take your time and pour your resin mixture into your silicone mold. Because this gets messy for me when I am pouring, I actually get these bubbles, which is probably not the best because I have puddles on the top and I just use the wood to kind of scrape it and push it into the open areas. Again, just try to be more patient than I am, but this still works either way. Also, if you're doing this scraping method like I tend to do, you really need to make sure that there's no large puddles on the top, or else it's going to be extremely difficult to separate the flooded part from the bottom of your gumdrop. Again, I can't stress this enough, just make sure the top of your silicone mold is nice and kind of smooth at the top without any resin puddles, because when you take them out 24 hours later, it'll be easier to remove any hanging pieces of the resin because it's thinner and easier to tear. Like you see here, it's a thin piece of resin that I just twisted off the bottom and then it is ready to be used. The cool thing about making your own gumdrop mold like I did is because I actually used real gumdrops to make it, which captured every single detail, even the sugar crystals, and I even got to decide how many I wanted to be in this mold. This silicone mold actually has 124 gumdrops, so it makes 124 gumdrops of each color at a time. And once again, I will leave you guys a link to my DIY video on how to make this gumdrop silicone mold down in the description, so go check it out. Now that we have made all of our fake gumdrops, we can now do a few simple DIY projects. The first of which we are going to do very traditional fake gumdrop Christmas trees using these craft foam cones. So once you have unwrapped all of your styrofoam cones, we are going to be making 2 trees. You are going to need to plug in your hot glue gun, and then once everything is ready, we can start assembling just by simply adding some hot glue to the bottom of a fake gumdrop and then making layers all the way up the cone with the spice drops. Again, keep in mind where you are placing all the colors because you don't want to put 2 colors next to each other. Another quick tip is that when you are starting a new layer, always dedicate starting it to the back so that if your spice drops don't completely close in, all your mistakes or larger gaps will be towards the back of your gumdrop tree. And also try your best to wedge them in between 2 of them on the bottom layer, just kind of creating like a triangle effect as you go up the cone. One last little thing is actually not to stress too much about those empty gaps if you are planning on adding glitter, because if those large empty gaps are bothering too much, adding glitter will actually kind of hide those imperfections and make it all blend together. I was kind of confused on assembling the top. The best way that I found is actually just to glue 4 gumdrops on the top of it facing right way up, and then on the top of the 4 gumdrops add 1 more gumdrop to the center, kind of bringing it to a point. So far we have assembled 2 gumdrop Christmas trees, and now we are going to take some of the gumdrops and actually drill through them so that we can string them up and make a garland, and then we are actually going to take them and add a little bit of extra pizzazz and give them some glitter. So let's go do that. As you can see, we drilled the holes through the center of the gumdrops, and if you guys know any tips on how to do this, let me know down in the comments because it was actually very dangerous the way that we did it. Thankfully, nobody got hurt, and my mom was able to help me get all of the holes down through the center. I'm pretty sure we used a drill press. Again, it was super dangerous. Definitely do not recommend doing it this way, but hey, we got a really cool fake gumdrop garland out of it. So once you have all of your gumdrops pre-drilled, then just take some baker's twine and tape a needle to it that you will use to thread all of your fake gumdrops on. And then once your garland is completely assembled, just go to the ends of your twine and then use it to tie little knots where you can hang up your garland. So now I'm going to take my garland and the gumdrop trees and first spray them with this matte Mod Podge spray and then coat them with this really nice iridescent glitter. So for applying the glitter and Mod Podge, I'm actually going to be using some gloves just so I can protect my hands and make it easier to touch the product. For reference, this is before glitter and this is after glitter. I absolutely love how our super unique Gumdrop DIY decor pieces came out, and I hope that you guys did too. Stay tuned for our future Craftmas videos. Thank you guys for watching, and if you liked it, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you guys for watching, and bye everyone!